I'm calling this one a series of events. Hi guys. I went on a few trips this year, and every time I returned home, there was a gnawing feeling of the need for change, and it got more and more convincing as time progressed. One unreasonable trait of mine is I don't register my small wins, my small moves. Frankly, I can't tell the last time I celebrated my baby steps. But even unceremoniously, I shall acknowledge the big picture, the big moves, the big shifts. And my introspective sense of being recognized almost immediately that the major moves I longed for required a number of small, tiny, almost unrecognizable moves. Now, somewhere in my past life, I planned events, and at some point I was even employed by a projects and events production company. So, yes, I can sit and make lists and roadmaps and vision boards for anything and everything. I knew this would not be a quick project, nor would it take little attention, but I have a Father. He knows my name and every other detail about me. And Philippians 4 verse 6 is a scripture constantly reminding me not to be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer, supplication, and thanksgiving, place my cares before the Lord. And if you've ever read or watched a series of unfortunate events, best believe things have happened to magnify the disappointments. But just as I was dealing with one of these pop-ups, I saw a video posted by a media personality that I, for one reason or the other, really like. And she spoke of how we needed to extend gentleness and patience within, to recognize that some closed doors and some no's are the best yeses and acceptance we could ever get. That it's at times a necessity for some bridges to be burned, and to recognize that some roads should not be traveled twice. And the miracle that happened was that I was in that ideal frame of mind to first recognize and then accept that I'm one of those humans who needed the bridges, the houses, and whatever else I try my darnest to reconstruct, to be burned to ashes, to smithereens, because that's how I as a person recognize closed doors in many occasions. Because if there is any indication of a remnant of life, I am the likely person to run into the dilapidated situation to try and resuscitate it. But I digress. We're talking about a series of events, right? And sometimes we have made plans and lists, checked them twice. But even when we have planned out our journey, whether a short trip or a long trip, and thought of everything we deem fathomable, things tend to happen. I took a trip before, a road trip with adults and some kids, and it was like Murphy's Law on caffeine. We took this trip on a not so serious winter afternoon, and it was supposedly an 8-hour drive across province. And at the beginning of the trip, one of these children was already not feeling well. And as the journey continued, the child got sicker. We went from little flurries to passing through a place where there was an extreme blizzard. At some point, the child got so sick that they threw up in the car. And this caused us to have to make a pit stop that we had not planned on our journey. And when we got to our destination, it was late night. But what I learned when we arrived safely at our destination, is we were right on time. There were accidents on the roads. There were cars in ditches and trucks that had run off the road, and you name it, we saw it. But even with our meticulous planning, we made unplanned stops. I recently swapped one type of train for another, and I really like trains. I don't know why. And one evening on my routine journey home, with one stop to go, there was a mechanical or technical issue, and we were stuck on the line for over an hour. This also meant that all the scheduled trains that followed would arrive at their final destination later than anticipated. And even with support jumping on as soon as we stopped, and what I assumed to be planned protocol followed, my early day quickly turned into a number of not so well oiled gears turning slower than desired, and me, along with all the other passengers and staff, having no choice but to wait it out. I was exhausted and hungry a bit, and even anxious, because I knew I would be getting up the following day to do my trip all over again. But I was reminded there was nothing I could do but wait. And like Isaiah 40 verse 31 says, "But those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength." So, after letting my loved ones know my situation, I whispered a prayer, then rummaged through my bag for snacks. A few days later, when friends and I spoke of the events of that evening, I realized how things could have been worse. Most passengers were already off the train. The only weather we had to contend with was an early sunset. The train may not have been moving, but all other functions were intact. This was late fall, early winter. It could have been a snowy day. It could have been a heavily rainy day. It could have been that the train had greater issues and the power was gone or something, but none of that happened. See, a lovely lady used to say to us while growing up, whenever we were delayed, or denied. Everything happens for a reason. You don't know what God has saved you from. And in all seriousness, sometimes with the level of resilience that we're made of or made with, God has to use a series of events that seem like compounded disappointments to redirect us and save us from whatever He has to save us from. He knows every fiber, every trait, every inclination, and all the choices that we carry like luggage through this life. And some of us don't have the just walk away trait in us, which means that God's answers have to be louder than usual in these times for us to recognize what He has said. And so what could have been a gust of wind results in a sequence of blows and a series of waves and tremors and aftershocks. And a little inconvenience turns into several things. And at times, on the wrong day, the waves knock us over. And you know what? It's okay to just sit in the mess for a little while and gain perspective, because some storms rise up to save us from ourselves, to wake us up, to show us a different path, or even simply bring us peace. So listen to the storm. Don't let the storm go to waste. There is a voice in the wind, no matter how tumultuous it may seem. Quiet the noise and pay attention. A still, steady voice in between the explosions, within the tremors, and in the troughs of the waves. So, no matter what storm clouds are rocking your ship, stand still and see the salvation of the Most High, as He reminds us in Exodus 14 verse 14. The Lord will fight for you. You need only be still. Take care.